boys and girls, Ken Smith, KenSmithFishing.com, day 2 of the last team standing. So first day we had 30 or 40 fish, all keepers. We had more than that fish-wise. But we only saw 2 what we would call quality fish, a 3-pounder and a 4-pounder that we actually lost, both in real similar spots. And so Saturday night we were outside grilling and talked, Dicky and I standing there talking, and we just started working through kind of where we had seen quality fish in practice. And he said, you know, I got some fish on the south end, but they're the same thing we're catching up here. I'm not seeing 5 and 6 and 7 pound fish. So I said, well, you know, I had that 4-pounder in practice on a Carolina rig, and that fish was in a spot a little bit deeper, not in the grass. He said, okay. And I said, and he said, you know, the 4-pounder I lost this morning was out over a deeper drain. And he said that fish was not around the grass either. Okay, so we're not rocket scientists, but we're not dumb guys either. So we said, you know, tomorrow we need to spend more time away from the grass, either outside the grass or away from the grass. Now, there's 2 parts to that. So, and a lot, it's funny how everything relates to things you know from years past. Dicky and John Gunnels won a tournament on Toledo Bend years ago, and it was a springtime tournament. They had, I think, a 40-pound stringer on Toledo Bend flipping bushes. He's never caught those fish in that same area again, and he said part of the problem is there's grass in those areas now. And of course I'm like, what do you mean? He said, well, when you have grass outside the bushes, those fish will generally, some of them will stay in that grass. When there's no grass option, they'll be in the bushes. So we both kind of had that thought in our head, and we're talking, and I said maybe we need to get around some areas where there's not grass. So we kind of went what I'm going to call more, well, actually both directions, but more main lakey. But that's not the first thing we did. So as we stood there and talked about it, it's funny, Clint was in the house when we came back in. We were both smiling, and he said, you guys have worked out a plan. And we said, well, yeah, but who knows, you know, a lot of the times we've worked out those plans and they've not worked. But what we decided was, let's go to the grass early, let's catch a limit because we thought we could, and then as the day progresses, let's make an effort to get away from the grass. So what you're going to see here is that progression. So we're going to start out on a grass spot. Our first fish was one a little bit over 4 pounds. It was actually one of the 5 fish we weighed, but it was in the dark. It was actually 632. I mean, it was right off the bat, pulled up on this little grass spot. Dicky caught that fish, and he didn't even know how big it was when I mean, it was dark. It was 632. So I dip netted that fish, and we had a better fish than we had seen before. And now our wheels are spinning the other way. Maybe we can catch some big ones up around the grass. Kind of the same stuff we had been fishing. Flash forward 40 or 50 minutes later, and I catch this fish, which is our 5th fish of the morning. What time is it, Diggy?
7:23.
7:23. We got our limit this morning.
Huh?
Huh?
We ain't got a limit.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Yep. Now, what you don't see on camera there is he said to me at some point right through this period of time, we're back to catching what we caught before. We caught a night feeder. That 4-pounder was a fish. If you've never read John Hope's book, he talks a lot about night feeders and day feeders. And he said that we caught a night feeder. That fish was feeding while it was still dark. And We continued in search mode, so we had that fish, we had a small limit, and we go doing not what we said we were going to do. We go to the back of a creek, and you can see that here, and you can even see the hyacinth floating around, not the hyacinth, the giant salvania. That stuff's so nasty. But we go through these fish right here, and you'll see us catch a few small fish.
His hand was in the water. Say that again? Yeah, he was trying to net it.
Did you catch the fish?
Yeah. Yeah, it helped me make his cut. Oh.
Big one?
No. I think you will.
Looks like it.
Which one's the little one? Just tell me and I'll get him.
I don't know. It's not help.
Will he?
Yeah, maybe not.
Left or right?
No, they're on the right side. That's a fat little guy right there.
And so we come out of there, and he said to me, it's time we get away from the grass. And so that's what we did. We got away from the grass. We got out, I'm going to say deeper, but not significantly deeper. You know, in most parts of the lake, you can find 10, 11 foot grass, maybe 12 foot, but that's kind of the end of it. We wanted to be around spots where there wasn't grass. We wanted to be rolling our A-rigs, and we tried some other stuff as well, but in drains and points where there was not any grass. And what you're going to note here is for the rest of this video, you do not see one strand of grass come up with a fish. We were 16 to 22 feet deep. It was interesting. We hit a bunch of spots you're going to see. Several of these fish are off points, but then several of them are also off of drains. What we did that was smart was we just covered water. I think you're going to see us cover 5 or 6 or 7 different spots here. And we continued to catch fish throughout most of the day and continued to cull up throughout most of the day. So let's go through kind of the remainder part of the day up until the big fish.
Spot lock, spot lock, spot lock.
Good.
Feels like a good year.
Very cool.
God, that felt like a nice fish. He won't help, will he? I got you. Hey, help, you know.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one there. Ain't it?
Good one, got off.
Yes, sir. God, they're pretty hard. Golly. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's a bass. That's a bass. Get in there.
I think he's digging.
It's all right.
I got to look at him when you pull him by first time.
Get the net. Yeah, I'm gonna say big fish. That is big fish. This is a big one. Just get it. Get it.
I'm ready.
Go ahead.
Hear that color.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Double.
But they're too good. Hope I'm gonna call like that.
Yep. Good job, man. I don't know if y'all saw that on camera, but Dicky just caught two, probably 3-pounders on the same cast. That helps. We got about 14 pounds right now.
Now which one?
I'll show you. Here, just come back and let me do it. You did it for me, I'll do it for you. Oh my gosh, I got a giant, Dicky. I got a giant. He started pulling drag when he hit it. He's a giant. He's a dandy. That's a 5.
Right at it.
There's the wall. We need to make sure we put a waypoint on that and remember that.
I know right where it's at.
We just did a fair amount of culling right there, boys and girls.
Yeah, sure.
That's a nice one. By the way, that's Dicky's double right before that.
One skinny one.
Little skinny, super skinny one. And you get bit, you get bit. Oh, here you come and got it.
What?
That's probably a 3-pounder. That was not that 3.
No, that's over.
He was right there under the boat. Roped him.
Yeah, he's gonna go 3.5.
Yeah, we got a 308 and 304. $330.
I think it might be a good fish too. Oh, it's double. I think what I said was gonna get crushed. We'd loved them yesterday, wasn't it?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my God. That's calling your shots, boys and girls.
Is that on camera? good one?
I don't think so. It's 3 pounders. Go back in there. Go back.
Well, now, I don't want to.
How big is it? Will help?
Yeah. Heck yeah. It's a 4 pounder. 4 pounder.
That helps.
I ain't don't have to worry about calling the wrong one.
No, that makes me feel way better right there. Makes me feel way, way better.
Guess it got us another pound, huh?
That fish is over 4.
Do what?
That fish is over 4.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
That shows us right at 21 pounds. So we're probably 21 and a half now.
We have 21-ish pounds in the boat, and we're cameras off. We basically think we've got what we're going to catch. And counter to everything we just said, Dicky said we need to cull. We had a little over a 3-pound fish, and he said we need to cull that fish. And I said, yeah, I know. I said I got one spot right up here by takeoff. It's a little drain. It's a do-nothing drain, which I like because those little do-nothing drains, I mean, if you run over and run into Hog Branch or Indian or Harvey or Mud, you're one of 10 boats that have gone through there that day, if not in the last hour. This is one of those little do-nothing drains that it's just sticking off the side of a main lake point, and it had a little smattering of grass through it. We pulled up there, and I rolled an A-rig through it and didn't get bit, and he fires that 1/2-ounce chrome rattle trap, which is something he likes to do on sunny days, and gets this bite right here.
All right, we just had a circus. We just had a circus here. We had about 21 pounds. And Newberry says, I think I got one. And look at this fish.
Look at
Maybe
that.
the biggest fish I've ever seen in this lake.
I think it's my biggest.
Oh my God, what a fish. On a little do-nothing drain with 20 minutes left. I am shaking. Oh, that may get us to 30. That is awesome. Woo!
Man, he's that
He
hook,
smoked it.
that-
God, what a
that
fish.
hook is stuck.
Now, unfortunately, I didn't get that circus on film of us catching that fish, but that was our day. We were smart in that we made a significant adjustment in getting away from the grass and deeper, and I think both of those were keys. But you know, I've always heard the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And after catching all those fish Saturday around shallowish grass, 14 feet or less, we just weren't seeing the quality we knew we needed to win. So we went deeper, and we burned a ton of gas. We burned a ton of gas because we would roll up on a spot, we would make 8 or 10 or 12 casts, and if we didn't get bit, we would leave. But if you'll notice on most of these videos, when one of us gets bit, the other one's stepping on spot lock, because if there was a fish there, there were often multiple fish there. And so we covered a lot of water, and when we got bit, we beat on those spots a little bit, and the sun shined on us, and the good Lord was good to us, and we were able to get a win. So it was a great fun tournament. We caught a ton of fish both days, and we made a lucky or a smart adjustment, and we're going to go with smart to do something different on day 2. Because day 1 results were going to result in us not cashing a check on day 2. And sometimes that's what you got to do. And that is the thing that has most impressed me in my time fishing with him, is he is completely open to bagging something and doing something different if it's not working. And it's been great fun fishing with him. He's going to go fish the FLW Tour this year, and so we're not going to get to team fish very much, but I really enjoy getting to fish with him these years, and we'll fish more in the future, but he's going to do really well in the FLW Tour. You guys watch. The guy is open-minded, and he knows how to close when he gets a chance to win one, which a lot of guys, myself included, a lot of times struggle to do. So great fun, and we hope to see you guys on the water soon. And just keep an open mind. I'm telling you, we could go back through the spots where we fished Saturday and catch 25 pounds today. That's just how Rayburn changes. The big fish, though, generally speaking, to be around the grass, in my mind, and I think in Dicky's mind as well, that water's got to get in the low 50s. And then from there, the colder the better. And it's just not there yet. And that's why you saw so many little stringers get caught and just a few big stringers get caught for the guys that are willing to adjust and go out deep. So I hope that is helpful to everybody. I certainly learned another lesson. It's frightening how often I have to learn some of these lessons, but I learned another lesson this weekend, and that is, again, don't be afraid to do something different. And it paid off for us in a big way. So.
2057. 2057. Second. My very round. 16. Oh, I got better, did it?
Dang.
Rumor has it, it's bonus 23.
It's 25. Wow.
25 is what it says. 26, somebody said.
Got a baby.
They said you have a big one. That's a full sack of fish right there. 28.74 for Sarah's husband and Dicky Newberry. And no, be quiet if you want to. Good gosh, boy. That is 11.23. 11.23. Yeah, 2 pounds of crappie. So.
Well, that's that big fish Dicky caught on that trap. I want to show y'all what was, we could see it when we caught it. We didn't get it on camera because we wanted to get her in the live well real quick. I want to show y'all what was down her throat. Y'all got what was down that fish's throat? This is what we could see sticking out of that fish's throat. Look at the size of that.
That is a gizzard shad. I saw a spot.
Shad, look at this too. Gizzard shad.
Got my place.
We had a great time. Just a fun day. So I hope y'all enjoyed this footage, and I'm sure it's 2 shows, but we had a blast. And thanks for Clint and Stacy for putting this on. And Sarah won a little bit of money for her birthday this weekend.